Hello everyone, welcome to the Educon Community Operating System series. Today we will learn about user operating system interface. So let's continue. So there are mainly two fundamental approaches for users to interface with the operating system. One technique is to provide a command line interface or command interpreter, okay, that allows users to directly enter commands that are to be performed by the operating system. Okay, so first of all, command line interface or command interpreter. Okay? That allows users to directly enter commands to be performed, okay, by the operating system, by OS. Here, so this is the command line interface or command interpreter. The second approach allows the user to interface with the operating system via graphical user interface or GUI. So it is command line interface. It is approach 1, and approach 2 is via GUI or graphical user interface. Okay. So first we will learn about the command line interface or command interpreter in brief. Okay, so command interpreter. Okay, some operating systems include the command interpreter in the kernel. Others, such as Windows, XP, and Unix, treat the command interpreter as a special program that is running when a job is initiated or when a user first logs on interactive systems. On systems with multiple command interpreters to choose from, the interpreters are known as the cells. For example, suppose on Unix and Linux systems, there are several different shells a user may choose from, including the born shell, C shell, born again shell, the corn shells. Okay, like in Unix or Linux systems, there are several cells like born shell, next come she shell, okay? Next maybe born again shell. Next, maybe corn cell. Okay. For example, on Unix and Linux systems, there are several different cells a user may choose, like this. Okay. Most cells provide similar functionality, with only minor difference is most users choose a cell based upon personal preference. Okay. The main function of the command line interpreter is, write this, the function here, function to get and execute the next user specified. Okay. Many of the commands given at this level manipulate files, create, uh, delete, list, print. Okay, like which type of commands, like um, create, delete, print, or copy, execute, okay, and so on. The MS-DOS and Unix cells operate in this way. There are two general ways in which these commands can be implemented. In one approach, the command interpreter itself contains the code to execute the command. For example, suppose a command to delete a file may cause the command interpreter to jump to a section of its code that sets up the parameters and makes the appropriate system call. In this case, the number of commands that can be given determines the size of the command interpreter, since each command requires its own implementing code. Okay, so I will write down this. There are two commands can be implemented. Approach 1. Okay, so the command interpreter itself contains the code to execute the command. I gave the examination earlier. Okay, and approach number 2, this is B. Approach 2 is used by Unix among other ways, other OSs in these operating systems. Okay, um, implements most commands through through system programs. Okay, in this case, the Command interpreter does not understand the command in any way. It merely uses the command to identify a file to be loaded into memory and executed. Thus, the Unix command to delete a file. Okay. Suppose in this way, suppose rm txt. Okay. Would search for a file called rm, load the file into the memory, and execute it with the parameter file text. The function associated with the rm command would be defined completely by the code in the file rm. In this way, programmers can add new commands to the system easily by creating new files, okay, with the proper names. Like here it is rm. The command interpreter program, which can be small, does not have to be changed for new commands to be added. Okay, so we have done the command interpreter. Okay, next come to the GUI part. So next is GUI, means graphical user interface. It is the second strategy for interfacing with the operating systems. Okay, so for interfacing with OS, it is the second approach. Yeah. It is through a user-friendly graphical user interface or GUI rather than having users directly enter commands via a command line interface. A GUI allows or provides a mouse-based window and menu system as an interface. A GUI provides a desktop metaphor, okay, where the mouse is moved to position its pointer on images or icons on the screen. There is a desktop that represent the programs, files, directories, and system functions. Okay, and depending on the mouse pointer's location, clicking a button on the mouse can invoke a program, select a file or directory known as a folder. Okay, or pull down a menu that contains the commands. Here, traditionally, Unix systems have been dominated by command line interfaces, although there are various GUI interfaces available, including the common desktop environment and X Windows systems that are common on commercial versions of Unix, such as Solaris and IBM's AIX systems. Okay. However, there has been significant development in GUI designs from various open source projects such as KDesktop environment or KDE. Okay, and GNOME desktop by the JNU project. So both those KDE or GNOME. Okay, this I to talk about KDE and GNOME. Okay, KDE means the a desktop environment. Okay, and GNOME desktop is by GNU project. So both these KDE and GNOME desktops run on Linux and various Unix systems and are available under open source licenses, which means their source code is in the public domain. Okay. The choice of whether to use a command line or GUI interface is mostly one of personal preference. As a very general rule, many Unix users prefer a command line interface as they often provide powerful shell interfaces. Alternatively, most Windows users are pleased to use the Windows GUI environment and almost never use the MS-DOS shell interface. Okay, the various changes undergone by the Macintosh operating systems provides a nice study in contrast. Historically, Mac operating system has not provided a command line interface, although requiring its users to interface with the operating system using its GUI. However, with the release of Mac OS X, which is in part implemented using a Unix kernel, the operating system now provides both a new Aqua interface and command line interface as well. And the user interface can vary from system to system and even from user to user within a system. It typically is substantially removed from the actual system structure. The design of a useful and friendly user interface is therefore not a direct function of the operating system. Okay, so next I want to talk about the spooling. Okay, this is not the part. Spooling. Acronym for simultaneous peripheral operations online. So spooling refers to putting jobs in a buffer. Spooling refers to putting jobs on buffer. Okay, a special area in memory or on a disk where a device can access them when it is ready. And pooling is it's useful as device access data at different rates. Okay, and the buffer provides a waiting station where data can rest while a slower device catches up. So computer can perform the input output in parallel with computation. It becomes possible to have the computer read a deck of cards to a tape, drum or disk, and to write out to a tape printer while it was computing. This process is called the spooling. Okay, and the most common spooling application is the application. This is the print spooling. Okay, this is the sprint spooling. In the sprint spooling, documents are loaded into a buffer and then the printer pulls them off the buffer at its own rate. Okay, so here here documents documents are uh, loaded into a buffer and then the printer pulls pulls them off the buffer at its own rate. Okay, and spooling is also used for processing data at remote sites. Okay, also used for processing data at remote sites. So this is point number one. Point number two, 3, 4, 5. The CPU sends the data via communications path to a remote printer. Spooling overlaps the input output of one job with the computation of other jobs. Okay. One difficulty with simple batch systems is that the computer still needs to read the decks of cards before it can begin to execute the job. This means that the CPU is idle uh, during these relatively slow operations. And you may write the next point also. Point number 6, cooling batch systems. Okay, where first enter the simplest of the multi-programming systems. Programming systems. Okay. So what are the advantages of spooling? What are the advantages of spooling? So the first one is the spooling operation uses a disk as a very large buffer. Okay. And the next is spooling is, however, capable of mm, overlapping input output operation for one job with processor operations for another job. Okay, so that's all for today. Next, we will discuss about the system calls in the next session. So thanks for watching this. Do like, share, subscribe as much as possible. Thanks.